presented by Vyas Media Network.
So आजको एपिसोडमा चाहिँ we have Gauley Bhai, a Nepali band that comes from Bangalore, India. It consists of Vyecheet, Anudwatt, Siddhant and Joe. I was planning to have 4 of them in this episode, तर health reasons ले गर्दाखेरि Joe र Anudwatt चाहिँ आएनन्. So we had an incredibly insightful conversation Vyecheet र Siddhantसँग. And like Gauley Bhai is one of those bands that really transcends boundaries. Their songs are in Nepali, but they are very big in Bangalore and a lot of other places in India. And the music is so goddamn incredible. Great lyrics, great storytelling, and out of this world sound. And that's a Western, Eastern, folk, sabai khalko fusion esto cha, but then it never feels out of place. One of my favorite bands. And it was very insightful to talk about their art process, their writing process, their music process. Like, your episode has taught me so much, has given me so much respect for what they've done and what they do. So I hope you enjoy this show. Ramailo conversation haru bhako cha. So enjoy. अनि त्यहाँ तल क्याफेमा चाहिँ द्याट्स माई रेगुलर स्पट होइन. अनि आफ्टर अफिस म बसेर गएर थिएँ. अनि इट्स बिन लाइक 7-8 बजिसकेको थियो. आई वाज टकिङ एन्ड त्यो सो भइरहेको थियो मात्रै भइरहेको थियो. आई वाज प्लानिङ टु गो ब्याक होम क्या होइन. एन्ड देन यु गाइज स्टार्टेड प्लेइङ एन्ड लाइक इट वाज सो new, and like the question I had was, what is this sound, right? Not what is this song, not who this act is, like what is this sound? And like and I decided right then to buy the tickets and watch the show fully, and I enjoyed it so much, right? And because the sound itself is so unique but familiar, you know, and like it it's by design, I know for sure, right? So it's some fusion of so many things. There's folk sound, there is jazz, there's progressive rock, everything is there. Did the sound come organically, or like did you guys had to design it for a long period of time before you said like, now we got it?
I think when do you say sound, I think it is also something you discover. But I think for us it was a very organic thing, right? Like in the sense, we never planned anything. To be honest, like where we are today, we ran with it. When things started happening in front of us, then I think we were sensitive enough to say, okay, that is a sound and that this is something that can grow, and you know, that maybe we'll run with it is what we decided. But initially, we were just some guys like messing around in a room, to be honest, for like a long time. Yeah. No? Yeah. And as you know, like you used to work and also used to have these sparse jams, like 2-3 times a month maybe together, you know, and then so slowly, but what we realized, and sometimes actually this is why friends are important, because some people around us, we knew what we were doing and we were having real fun. But then I think some friends and others, when they started hearing what we were making, then they also kind of brought it to our attention that, okay guys, this is something special. Yeah, this may be something.
It is more of an organic result of the people that were jamming at the moment.
Oh, sir.
Yeah. So
so the jams would be quite organic, like in the sense, initially what we used to not,
initially our bass player, Anudwatt and me, we had a blues band, right? Made background, the blues, as blues guitar. Oh. Then we met Joe, right? And we started jamming, and initially the blues, then he started telling me, okay, it's okay, the blues is there, but you need to do something else. He started giving me about feedback, right? Then a few albums to listen to. Then it was a slow process, but yeah.
And then these guys kind of called me also. Like, see, actually,
You came in late.
I am a toddler of a musician. I mean, on stage and all, this playing thing, because learned violin as a child. अब आफ्नो चोइसले त कसले भाइलिन सिक्छ हैन बाउले भनेर गएको बाउ आमाले फोर्स गरेर गएको क्या भाइलिन सिक्नु खासमा
आफ्नो चोइसले कसैले भाइलिन सिक्दैन That's funny, dude.
So then but we love to sing, and then I used to learn from these guys actually. This guy Anudwatt, like I mean Gauley Bhai, I mean we've grown up together in each other's houses, like his grandmother, his mother and all, they've taken care of me and Anudwatt and all. So we grew up like that, and so these guys would play blues. I remember these guys playing blues since they were children. Together they used to play.
Sir. Because we studied in the same school. Tara, म चाहिँ actually I'm guitarist भन्दाखेरि अगाडि चाहिँ I'm a tablaist क्या.
Oh.
हजुर.
Percussions.
हजुर.
त्यो पनि आफ्नो चोइसले कसले सिक्छ
हैन. Because मेरो grandmomले चाहिँ she still runs Bharatnatyam classical school है. अन्त अहिले चाहिँ मेरो फुपूले रन गर्नुहुन्छ. अहिले grandmom is too old. अन्त सानोदेखि नै she used to force me to learn है. So harmonium पनि सिकेको थिएँ मैले, तबला पनि सिकेँ, violin सिकेँ. लास्टमा चाहिँ I ended up being a guitarist.
For a while I used to play his violin because he was given up on it, and his grandfather, like my violin broke in school only, class 12 show. And I took his violin and it was with me. I think if you go to Kalimpong, I still have that somewhere. his violin, like. But I think that way Anudwatt also used to learn, like vocals and harmonium in like Hindustani, and Joe also has a background like that. But then I think we all had different musical backgrounds. And then like later on I knew these guys would jam like forever, and you should hear them sing. Someday you should just go and look for Mojo Hand, that band, and just hear these guys.
Okay.
So
Mojo Hand.
Yeah. And I used to really love singing. So I used to be like, bhai, chance don't know. Ek geet gaun sini. So then whatever they used to teach, and I used to somehow learn, and I used to sing like, in bathrooms, in bedrooms, a little bit.
As we all do.
And then like, so back then we were all in Bangalore. Somehow it came to a point where 2017, we were all there. This is a story I think we've said before also, but we were all there, and then that started happening. And then they met Joe, so then I used to write actually. My background's in film, and my background is in writing and all actually. So then since I used to work with that, and I'd just gone home for like a year to, there were some things happening back home in that highway, and I was really interested to learn how things are changing because there were hydro dams and that had come in. So I'd just come back to Bangalore like for a break to figure out what to do next. And that time then they were also jamming, Joe was also there. We were all jamming. I was trying to be like, give me one song to sing and all. And then these guys said, okay, we need a writer, songwriter, singer. Why don't you come with your violin? You come. And then when I went there...
Was that an audition?
It wasn't an audition. It was like, we were doing it for fun, right? Yeah. Saturday, Sunday, we wanted to just chill out a little bit. And we all had hectic jobs.
Yeah, I only had a Saturday, Sunday.
Right. This guy would come Friday evening. He would come with his amp and guitar. He'd stay. And then they'll play whatever 2 days. Sunday, he'd go. That was the system. And then... So when I went and whatever we started singing, then these guys were like, okay, we can make a song with this. Friends and all were saying, Vyecheet, tu geet magaar ho kya? Don't sing, they will sing and all. But then these guys were like, no, you sing. In Nepali, it's good. English, they don't allow me still.
You want to?
No, I'm okay. I'm okay with Nepali.
I guess what makes it unique is that your very earthy vocals that you provide.
Somehow, right?
Yeah. And I guess जति बच्चामा forcefully सिकाएको कुराहरू, probably you guys hated it back then, but it has influenced the sound.
It has.
Right?
Yeah, also.
It has, I think. You can't let it go.
Even your violin has so much the essence of sarangi in it, the way you play it.
Yeah, I mean, I think, but we are all interested in this folk sound. Like the thing is, although we studied Western classical and Indian classical and some other classical and all that, Joe has even a background in Carnatic classical and all, but our interest was, I think, always with contemporary music or with folk music, Like, see, things like blues and all have relationships with folk music and folk musical understandings and all, So then we naturally gravitated towards those kind of sounds. And so when we were jamming, I think the magic happened that, personally already, right, we were people who were looking for similar things. Like a similar sound we were gravitating towards, right? From folk and blues to like a little bit of funk, R&B. So since we had that, it just came together very naturally. I mean, we must say that it's a gift from God for us. Like, it is.
Okay.
Like it just came, and then when it came, initially we were clear, like boys, no band and all. We were like we were like slightly older. Joe was already in like a certain flow. I was already in a certain flow with my work, and we didn't intend that. And then must mention here, like there is a person called Angarika, who actually now I'm married to also, but apart from that, like actually she helped us start the band.
Oh.
I mean, she called us to play in like a festival that she had curated. They work in like an organization called Mara Collective in Bangalore, and they're like, we are friends. And then, so Mara Collective kind of called us to play in this one festival called I Live Here, which was basically different communities who lived in Bangalore, who inhabited the city, would come and make a presentation of their whatever, sound, a song or whatever. And then it was like a cultural meet, that festival. Every October they hold a festival with a theme called October Jam. So that year it was called I Live Here, and we played there, and that was the first gig.
Yeah, that was our first.
That was the first. I still remember it because I was singing off like crazy. Total noob, first show ever in my life.
What was the audience size?
Oh, it was good only. I think around 100, 150 people.
Yeah.
It was good, but then somehow, I mean, it was a festival, but somehow it went well, right? Like we got off. It was okay. I mean, it was crazy. Now to think about it, it's like crazy. But there was a rush to it. And then that day we packed up. From there, we went to the studio. I still remember we all stood in a circle. We kept our instruments, and then we were like, okay, guys, perhaps it's a band.
Yeah.
We had already been jamming for like 6 months by then. So 6 months later, we kind of came with this idea, and slowly it started. And then I think what happened was also we started hearing our own selves. Right, because till then we were just jamming, okay, something. But after that, it kind of picked up, like, every day it would grow, like one step more. This guy's playing was becoming more and more like himself.
Yeah.
So over time, I think we became conscious of our own sound, and now Sidhu, she brings something, like so that magic is there. So it's taken us time, and it's been a very organic and slow process, actually. Yeah, and it's still growing. Our second album is yet to come this year, so watch out.
Joro was, like, it's an incredible album, guys. Like I revisit that album every month or every 2 months or so, and it's an incredible album. And thank you so much for it. But yeah, I wanted to go on that, like the first show where it was like more like.
I want to talk about it,
please,
because like there's this funny event about band ko naam चाहिँ के हो भन्यो क्या. अन्त हाम्रो त band को नामै छैन. Then who Anudwatt was like Joe, Panicker and the Gauley Bhai. Joe got so angry. He's like, why am I not Gauley Bhai? Right?
Oh, that's cute.
Then say it's just Gauley Bhai.
Then we are Gauley Bhai.
Oh, wait. For at the पहिला चाहिँ I mean Nepali.
He even mentioned why is not Anudwatt and the Gauley Bhai.
Right. Yeah, but I think the first festival it was more like आफ्नो roots को music represent गर्ने type ले, and I read in your websites the info section where there was a statement that said the migrants, like you, because all of you guys left your original place to a city and then started working there. Is that what bound you guys in a relationship? Is that the common point of lens?
I think actually the main common point is definitely our vision of life, like how we imagine music and a relationship with that. I think first and foremost, we are like actually brothers, this guy and me, we're like blood brothers. Even with Joe, we are almost as good as blood brothers. My father considers Joe a younger brother, so we are really tied in. But really at the core of it, I think if you look at it, what binds us together is a relationship with music. And what we imagine and what we believe music is for us in our lives, and how we want to pursue it. What that vision, I think, is what really holds us together, and then everything on top, it kind of keeps coming, I guess.
How would you describe that vision?
The sound Gauley Bhai, I think.
that talks itself.
Yeah. What more to say?
Very good. So Joe, when Joe came, like you guys are you, Anudwatt and Siddhant, more Nepali background, and then Joe is from Kerala, right? Like,
so you were saying as migrants, how does it kind of bring us together?
My question was, what was his reaction to this Nepali sound? Was it alien to him? Was he like excited?
Somehow I think it was never alien to him.
Okay.
That is what I think it kind of worked out. Like the very first time I met Joe, and I remember the first song that I ever jammed with him was Ghamandi. It sounded very different actually back in the day, right? The first rendition of Ghamandi.
That is the most different song in the whole album.
Right? It's the first song, I think. The first song we jammed. And then, but I don't know, I think the first time we jammed only, he sang the parts back, you know that. It was like crazy.
All right.
So I don't think there was ever a thing like that. The moment we met, there was never a time when there was less of a sync. It was like how we are today. The first day we met, it was just like that.
Brilliant.
But I think it is true, the fact that we are all, one thing that I must mention about this migration thing since you took out, right? And in our bio says that. I think it's because it is important to mention. Because, see, in India, right, in Indian cities, I think what's happening is the number of people who come in and the number of people who leave is more or less the same. Every day there are thousands and thousands of people who migrate inside, thousands of people who migrate out. And then that relationship is kind of something to notice because the culture in a city comes from that kind of movement, right? Like today's reality, the reality of today's youth is to live in a space like that, is to be moving and to the ability, we need to find homes and belongingness as we travel, as we move. You learn other cultures, right? Your culture will change. And so we wanted to address like this changing cultural reality, actually. I think personally, if you look at Nepalis, it's been a real core of our historical reality also, right? Like in the sense, for how many centuries have people migrated? Nepali
all our literature is about that.
Yeah,
leaving
right.
the country.
Everything, any love song, Birani bhanne ta genre cha kya?
Yeah.
Birani means depart, to be estranged from your love, right? Biraha.
Yeah.
And then, so, I don't know, so because of that, I think it was at the core, and we wanted in Gauley Bhai. And see, for Joe also, right, for other cultures also, what I was trying to say in the subcontinent, it's the same, because Kerala and the history of the people from Kerala, they've also been migrating for like thousands of years, because they had that Arabic trade route, and people were going through, and then it's similar actually, strangely, if you see Kerala and Nepali cultures, they're similar so much so the architecture is also similar sometimes.
Architecture is similar.
It's like certain Onam, so what we celebrate here is like Mage
Sankranti. Okay.
Onam, and then the idea of त्यो बलि भन्ने राजा गाउँछ कि हामी त्यो देउसुरेमा हामी आफै आएका होइन बलि महाराजको भन्छ. So then they have a festival in which Bali Maharaj comes to their place, and then they make all those patterns outside and they cook food. So then the Bali Maharaj आएर चाहिँ उनीहरूको घरमा बसोस् भनेर. So then I feel like certain relationships are there. So now I'm not an expert, so please don't hold me by this, okay?
Like the one common point that I've always eluded me was this हाम्रो culture of त्यो के अरे केराको पातमा भोज खान्छौँ नि, and that is very prevalent in South India as well. अनि यहाँ नेवा सिभिलाइजेसनमा पनि त्यही छ.
नेवारहरूसित basically means.
Yeah. I've always felt that.
So I don't know. So what I was saying was that, but then that idea of migration is there actually throughout the subcontinent. So what we wanted to find, in India when we were living there, हामी त Indian Nepali हो, and we want to address our reality there, right? Somehow our ancestors migrated and we reached Kalimpong, Darjeeling and all that. We are there. Some people are born there, whatever. But from there also we migrate, and then we wanted to find a sound or like an expression that represents that modern cultural reality, a changing culture, modern
so
Nepali.
It's less about remembering your roots, but more about accepting the.
We are looking at the future.
Okay.
We are not playing folk music, actually.
Right, definitely.
Actually, we are playing like rock and things. We call it rock,
very
but it's a mix of so many things, right?
So much jazz in it, so much progressive rock in
and
it.
folk is one of the influences, because actually, see, we don't know how to play folk music. I don't know anything. I'm just singing what I feel like is like our kind of a sound, or we're responding to that as an influence, as much as we respond to any other thing like blues or funk or R&B, as much as that.
Basically, whatever we heard, Nepali folk, we are trying to
right.
incorporate a little bit.
It's your interpretation of it, more like.
Sir.
Okay.
And we listen to such music also, right?
Who's your favorite?
Too many favorites.
Give me some favorites.
Tinaravan. Tinaravan भन्ने छ.
Tinaravan. Okay, I've
It's
never.
desert rock.
Desert rock.
Desert rock.
Share some of artists that you
Who
listen
else,
to,
man?
who you think inspired.
Amdu Mokhtar छ.
Hmm.
So many.
Never heard.
D'Angelo छ. Faith
D'Angelo
Ambrose,
of course. म एकदमै त्यो के अरे इन्ट्रोडक्सन वेबसाइटमा पढेर अलिकति छक्क परेको चाहिँ यु अल्सो मेन्सन हिप हप.
Obviously,
Yeah.
we are into hip hop, man.
Who's your favorite artist?
So many from Eminem
Of
to
course.
like Tupac to like KRS to like Kuko. There are so many. Method Man,
Method Man.
Method Man, definitely. Well, current one?
Wu-Tang.
Wu-Tang Clan.
Can't forget like so कति हुन्.
Initially I was not.
Very classic तर.
हजुर तर पछि when I met Joe, त्यति बेलादेखि चाहिँ I'm like digging it क्या. It's so
I'm a
cool.
big hip hop fan.
Stormzy.
UK go.
UK, oh.
Yeah, great sound he has also.
Amazing. Oh.
What do you think about
Mac Miller.
Mac? Oh, I love that guy.
Right?
Rest in peace, Tara.
Thundercat.
What do you think about K. Dot, Kendrick Lamar?
Hey, insane writing, man.
Right?
Must say. One of my favorite tracks from him is this thing with Flying Lotus. I forgot the track.
Flying Lotus.
There's a where this kid from the coffin gets up and he's dancing. Whatever.
Bitch,
Please
don't
check it
kill
out.
my vibe.
Check it out, yeah.
Bitch, don't kill my vibe. Ola. Swimming pools or something like that. Okay, so like all those like because the way I hear it, I never heard hip hop in your tracks, but it was very interesting. I guess like that's jazz hip hop alikati mix huncha hola sayad tyanira. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm
खिचडी जस्तो हो क्या. We try to mix everything.
This guy's fault.
Yeah,
This
it's
guy's
my
fault.
fault because कति अब नयाँ नयाँ गीत बनाउँदाखेरि every alternate jam I'm bringing new parts क्या. अन्त लास्टमा गएर चाहिँ अनुद्वत दाले कम्प्लेन गर्छ कि महाभारत बनाएको हो क्या हो तिमीले चाहिँ भनेर क्या हालेको छ गीतमा.
That's the kind of tensions we have. This guy changing his parts every time, man.
but that's a fun tussle, right?
But it happens in iteration. अब एक महिना बाद त्यो फेरि चेन्ज भएर अर्कै भइरहेको हुन्छ है.
Yeah, like you guys are playful with it.
Oh, so
that's
have to be playful.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing I think people lose as they grow up.
Like एउटा गीत, like this guy will bring like a lick and he'll play it and we'll make a song, let's say. The same song, you don't play it for like 3 months. And then people will be like, oh shit, that idea. And then you won't play that same thing. You'll play something else. And then we're like, okay.
Do you get bored with it?
Yeah.
A lot of times, yeah.
गिटारिस्ट जिजी भन्छु कि यहाँ मान्छेलाई म गुड गिटारिस्ट क्या अब एभ्री डे बजाउँछ क्या.
I also wanted to go on your because I'm a writer too, you know, like a comedian. I write too, and I'm a big fan of the song lyrics, which I think comes from you.
Yeah.
And it makes sense now that you said that you've worked in films too, because your songs, like all of your songs, tell a story, right? And another thing that I've noticed is it's also quite political, not in the face, but there's definitely subtext to it. So is that more intentional, Kim? Is that a byproduct of the stories that fascinate you?
How to say? Actually, for me, I'm a kind of person who doesn't look at. I think things happen in multiple things at the same time. Yeah? Like I kind of look at parallels that move always together. I don't believe in isolating like if I take a story, I don't think you can really separate in a person's life what is the political, what is like religious, what is not, what is personal, private. Or, yeah, I kind of don't take it like that. Yeah, I kind of look at it. Perhaps it's because I look at narratives and I study stories in film. I kind of take it like everything is at the same time, from love to politics to history to like, reality. So I think in my stories, it is intended only to look at a particular narrative that way.
Yeah. I also believe that if you really tell a story honestly, then all those things will come by in itself. Like we don't live life politically or religiously. We just live our life and everything is there.
Yeah.
Right.
So you can't segregate it, my belief. So sometimes the songs, I think, sometimes you may notice it more like Nepali Karela. It's obviously, it talks about a political
Theme, yeah.
disillusionment that we are feeling as young people in like a certain reality of a revolution that is happening there, right? But then at the same time, it's not just about that. Even in that song, if you really look at it, it's also a kind of a young person is wondering, or a young person is trying to talk back to their
just trying to
home place.
comprehend ke bhairako भनेर.
Yeah, you know, and at the same time, otherwise, there are songs like Morau, which looks at the idea of grieving. And within that, there is like, you know, other aspects it's trying to look at. Or Joro, where there is a funeral and love at the same time, and you don't know which one to go with. So I think that way, it's kind of, you know, a mix of different things that one could feel.
Do you get these stories from your own experiences or from observations or a mix of both?
About, I think it is perhaps the songs for me, the songwriting works more as a reflection on other things that I may be doing, like in the sense maybe coming from a personal story, or maybe coming from a story that is happening to something I'm observing, or a region I'm observing, to people I'm observing, to what I've heard, to what I know. It could be anything, right? But then I think it always comes in a reflective space where I'm trying to understand it myself and like trying to kind of, let's say, sometimes communicate it back. Yeah, it's a reflective
Finding
thing.
a way to
It's
express
a way
it.
of pondering and wondering also. Yeah. It is.
So,
Also for me, it is to capture like some kind of, I think through my songs in bits and bits and bits, I'm trying to capture small realities. And
right.
if you take the album, then let's say the album is like a landscape of things. Okay? So every song is a part of that same, like Joro, like if you look at Joro, then that album cover is pretty representative of that, you know, like all the songs take different aspects of it. And
It's
overall,
just, just life.
yeah, overall it's a show.
So like, what are the kinds of stories that fascinate you? Like, what have you found a common theme?
It's not about the theme. I think
Maybe theme would not be the right word, but you find a thread.
Yeah,
right?
definitely there is. I think the second album for me is going more towards this idea of a lost youth, or I'm trying to see how people deal with frictions in environment and society around, you know, frictions between different relationships, frictions between memories of what used to be and what may come or what is today, frictions between friends. So I don't know, I'm moving with this idea of clashing forces in the second album.
Okay, that sounds very interesting. I think, I mean, very apt time to, explore that idea, because I think all of it is coming in forefront.
Also, the world around us is in a very sharp point, I feel.
True.
Right? It's like everywhere we see things are like in an extreme. So I think that's kind of affecting my writing this time for the second album, definitely.
मलाई चाहिँ भर्खरै एकदमै recently what's stopping me from writing is our primary window of the world has become social media. And it's a very dark and twisted place. Right. And I haven't been able to write because I don't want to write for these people or this interpretation of people, or because it's too dark for me. Like, I don't like these people, right? Sure. Like, do you ever feel like that, or do you feel like no, it's just me? Or like, when does the audience or the people or the society come into play for you as a writer?
I think I'm not writing for an audience, but I'm writing definitely for people. Maybe it is to represent some people, but it is definitely for somebody. But it necessarily, I don't think I look at it as audience. अब सुन्नु त अब जसले सुन्छ अब हैन बुझ्नेलाई सुजी हेरे नबुझ्नेलाई काने गुजी हो कि जे अन्त so but definitely I write it for people. I think I do it dedicated to certain people. To be honest, let me share something. Actually, for us, where we come from, for me personally, just because we're talking about the lyrics, so then for me, actually, where we come from really influences a lot of my work, apart from music also. So there is a place, हाम्रो दार्जिलिङमा अहिले what I feel is like the most volatile and the most changing region चाहिँ there is highway छ क्या टिस्टा highway भन्ने त्यो नदीको वरिपरि. What I see is that is the most volatile region किनभने it's going through solid infrastructural changes. There is hydroelectricity, there is like railways and त्यसरी so I somehow came to start working in that region since 2016. Gauley Bhai happened from 2017 क्या खासमा 17 somewhere we started June July. Like but then so my work is highly influenced by my study in that place. So last year we were even doing like we got a grant from the Indian Foundation of the Arts. And as a part of my research I kind of got Gauley Bhai to collaborate on board as well. And then so what we did is like in that region we were studying how this place that is changing affects people psychologically or this thing, you know, and then how does it reflect in cultural practices like music. So what the basic idea was that this that so study and all that, but then
that's the friction that
there was a participative aspect of it in which Gauley Bhai held a jam room. So the idea was to invite young musicians who live on that highway who are writing their own lyrics and all that. And then what I felt was that the context is that people don't have access. It's one of the most isolated regions, you know, even in media, even though it is not actually an isolated place, it's the highway. It's been politically and economically kind of ostracized. And then there were a lot of people, and then there is nothing. They're just writing to YouTube beats and all, you know, random beats and all that. So what we said was that if you have a song, you can come to this jam room and you can jam with us. We will play the music for you.
That is beautiful, man.
Right. So then now actually, so that took us a year. And then obviously, when you're working with a community like that, it is not just your homework, that job that you can do, right? Because then when you go, you're meeting people, then you get involved, then there are situations in that place is changing, there are there's a danger of houses being washed away, there is displacement, who does the land belong to? So all of these questions also start coming up, because when you enter a space, you're not insensitive, you're a sensitive person, so then you interact, and then that affects you psychologically, mentally, in many ways, you know. And I think it affects our band is like, we do that, it kind of charges us, you know. So right now actually April 20th, with 4 of the singers who came to jam with us, we made, like, I think Gauley Bhai has produced now an album with them. So they are the singers, and like we've kind of produced the music, and like we're the producers, let's say. And it's going to release now on April 20th called Tista Troopers. So, right. So I think what I'm saying is that, so that is kind of, I think, the energy that kind of we translate in our music also, in my writing at least. But it'll affect the playing also, right? It's like, it's coming with this charged energy actually. Like what I'm saying, if you have to say what is the meaning or what is the music coming from that way emotionally as a person living, I think it comes from these kind of charges that we carry, and there is definitely a strong will to express something, right? And then in the song, in the writing and all, I think I definitely come from this kind of a background, and I try to represent these different realities. And I think in the second album, you'll see it will explore some realities, I think. So in the sense, it's also a thing of storytelling, right? So then because I'm doing all this, it's not that now I'm going to write, like, it's not a political article, it's not a journal that I'm writing, but I think it is reflections of what is left behind as residue in bodies and memory, you know, because you can't just get rid of it. It doesn't go anywhere, it stays in you. So I think that thing translates into songs and it comes out.
Yeah, I've done a few things like that, not exactly, but in essence. And the kind of stories that come out with these experiences is so unique and so honest, and it just gives you a different perspective to, like, and
there is also a power of fiction, you know, like actually it's not like in my songs it'll be directly written like, okay, there was a man and this happened. It's not like you can't write a song like that, right? So then I think the idea of fiction and poetry comes in because you write a representational thing to represent some emotion you have, right? For example, we have one song that's going to come, and that is about सुनचरी हुन्छ क्या, सुनचरी भनेको गोल्डन बर्ड हैन. अन्त सुनचरीको चाहिँ जमिनहरू हुन्छ तर त्यसको सुनबारी हुन्छ क्या सुनचरीको, मतलब सुनबारी इज ब्यारन. अन्त एउटा कालो साँप चाहिँ हुन्छ क्या, एउटा अल्लारे गुन्डा खालको राउडी कालो साँप. त्यो साँप चाहिँ त्यो ऋण लिनु आउँछ क्या जहिले पनि. अन्त त्यो दिस बर्ड हेज टु पे द स्नेक डेट, ऋण हुन्छ क्या. एन्ड देन द सङ इज अराउन्ड दिस whatever, this idea. So it's like just an example.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we also have another song called Sadiyantra that we perform actually often.
Okay.
In Bisma चाहिँ हामीले खेलेको थिएन, but then we wrote the song a while back. That event was live. So that song is dedicated to त्यही त्यो टिस्टाकै हाइवेमा एक दिन 29th माइल भन्ने ठाउँलाई चाहिँ म्यापबाट निकालिदिएको क्या, लाइक इट्स लाइक नट अन द म्याप होइन. अन्त सो द्याट प्लेस गर्नु गोहरू भनेर. सो देन वान तल्लो त्यो गाउँको तल्लो लाइन चाहिँ बाटोबाट तल खोलाको छेउमा चाहिँ त्यो घरहरू चाहिँ भत्कायो क्या उनीहरूलाई हटाउनुको लागि. एन्ड देयर वाज अल दिस पोलिटिक्स द्याट दे वर अलरेडी गिभन मनी एन्ड दिस द्याट एन्ड इसेक्ट्रा. तर अब सो वाट एभर त्यस्तो थियो. बट देन सी वाट वान इज लाइक अब देयर लाइक ड्याम्स एन्ड अल दिस लाइक वर्ल्ड ब्याङ्क फन्डेड हो. एउटा चाहिँ बिचरा हाइवेमा दोकान थाप्छ त्यो बडीले. अब हाउ क्यान यु, देयर इज नो इक्वेसन राइट. थाप्यो होला उनीहरूले पैसा क्या, बट देन द्याट डजन्ट, बट स्टिल टु लुज अ होम इज समथिङ. सो षड्यन्त्रमा चाहिँ इट डिस्क्राइब्स that day, so that is a little more, let's say, more articulate about that, because it's for that day, right? It's describing an emotional energy, what that day felt like. Somehow, luckily, unluckily, म चाहिँ त्यही थिएँ क्या त्यो दिन.
Oh.
So then it's like that. So I'm just trying to draw you what kind of songs and what kind of lyrical themes that it may.
Reflection and articulation of what you've seen and felt.
Somehow, I'm trying to represent our reality, I guess. It's like that, through these random fictional stories. It's all fiction.
Fiction in a sense.
But no fiction is really fiction.
कसको भनाइ थियो नि, art is lying to tell the truth.
It's like that. Once again, all non-fiction is fiction and all fiction is non-fiction. I don't know, it's like this blurry thing.
So Gauley Bhai is definitely barrierless by design, right? So like boundary barriers or language barriers, like you guys have almost designed it to be above all those boundaries.
Yeah, we believe so. We believe that it's no we try to has no barriers.
But from when you're on stage, from looking from the stage, do you see subtle differences in, let's say, the like people enjoying your music back in India and then here in Nepal?
See, definitely I think language is not a barrier, but it's definitely an addition. It's definitely something to understand what a song is saying. But it is, in terms of people enjoying the same way. The language बुझेकोले, I think some people do get an emotional pull suddenly. Like, it may be, some people come and tell me, oh, it's overwhelming what you've written, whatever lyrics and all that. But even without that, I think people get overwhelmed.
Yeah, in Bangalore, they sing. All the South Indian people, they sing our songs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, don't say South Indian. Doesn't matter. Any other ethnicity apart from Nepali, also they come and sing and they come and hug us and like it is an emotional thing for people that we've realized. That
they receive the emotions without
the language or not. And some people really connect. Like, I don't know their names, but their faces come to me when you ask me that. From Bangalore, like there was this one girl who, long time back, she jumped through the barricade. We weren't even a big band. It was like our first 2-3 shows, right? Wow. She jumped through the barricade, this, that, and they climbed on stage and the tap. And then she comes even now. And she's like, wow, it's nice, thanks. So it's nice when people genuinely, it's nice, I don't think it's a barrier, because people come and genuinely tell us that they felt something at that time, with or without language.
And that is so. Okay, it's because my form of art is so speech oriented, right? So like I feel the language barrier the most. Okay.
Definitely, if for a comedian, right?
So it's very ekdamai fascinating. All these art forms that break this boundary, because I'm sort of bounded by it. And even if मैले यसरी बोल्दाखेरि with English Nepali mix गरेर बोल्दाखेरि पनि I lose a lot of audience, हैन? अनि so like I've tried to write it purely in Nepali or purely in English so many times, and it's truly fascinating to me that the kind of art that breaks these boundaries.
Yeah, because I think music is a very special thing.
True.
And music perhaps is Like, there is this crazy filmmaker who says that, see, all music, right, apparently has, as an art form, it carries this idea of innocence. Because when you make music, right, like, forget lyrics, huh? I'm not talking about lyrics. I'm saying, even if you're singing like da da di di do do, what actually Sidhu, let's say, is doing, like, one fine day, Sidhu will come and he'll play something. The thing is, that he also feels the same thing that I'm telling you in these words. There is no difference actually between his riffs and the lyrics. Because what somebody is doing is, and even the lyrics for me, is not like a planned thing, right? It has to just come. Like,
it's like push and pull. I make a riff, then he'll add a word, then Joe will add drums, then he'll
and it feeds each other, right? Like, he's giving me an emotion, so I'll give him something, right? And then somebody else will also add something, and then again, because he's added something to that, now it's changed. Now I'll add something to it. So it's like continuously you're putting in emotional energy and building, right? And then what that filmmaker Tarkovsky says is that, see, it's different because intellectual process, man. It's at that moment, right, it doesn't happen, because suddenly it'll be like, play Sidhu, and he'll keep bothering. It is a direct translation of. It has got no words in the middle. It's got
one
no
particular
thought.
song that happened like that was Simrayo, So
that song.
It was a very hectic day for me at office. And the office baadma jam गर्नु पर्ने क्या हामी चाहिँ 9 to 5 गरेर फेरि अफिसबाट फर्केर घर त्यहाँदेखि डिनर पकाएर देन ज्याम आएर त्यो हुन्छ नि हाम्रो ज्याम जस्तो हुन्थ्यो भेरी हेक्टिक
खाना आफै पकाउनु पर्ने
उनीहरू त मजाले चिल गरिरहेको हुन्थ्यो
He's the cook.
I'm the cook on top है अन्त भेरी टायरिङ डे अन्त म गिटार सेट बोकेर ओके लेट्स गो हैन त्यहाँदेखि टक्कै ज्याम पुगेर चाहिँ जो वाज प्लेइङ समथिङ अनि सडनली क्या मेरो लेग
आयो क्या अब
I thought it was funny है इनिशियली I was like त्यतिकै दिल्लै गरेको जस्तो अनि जो लाइक ओ वाउ म्यान यु प्ले द्याट होइन त्यहाँदेखि अचानक गीत बनेर
मान्छेले गीत गाउ त भन्यो कुनी गयो रे धारामा निस्क्यो हो and then it was a song
funny
त्यो गीत most of our songs just come out randomly in the jam room lyrically like
like universe playing.
So what I was saying is that there is no thing अब जस्तो फिल्म स्क्रिप्ट लेख्नु पर्यो भने चाहिँ भन्छ क्या because actually Tarkovsky is a filmmaker, so he's saying that film script लेख्नु पर्यो भने चाहिँ अब स्क्रिप्ट लेख्नु पर्यो सोच्नु पर्यो casting के so there's so much process between the artist's mind and the emotion and the final art form. The music, it closes that gap actually. That's why I think music has this insane ability like to connect with people, right? And it's like the most basic thing, no rhythm about anyone can get it khasma ta.
True. Yeah.
So then I think there are no barriers, and we come from that space because our exploration actually, यो मान्छेको आफ्नो political system, आफ्नो belief, what you want to say and all, that is one thing. But first, I think before that comes this thing of a commitment to this thing called music and the practice of it and that exploration of it. Because what we are looking for is like a sound, right? What we are looking for personally, what satisfies us, this guy and me, and Joe and Raunak and Sam, is to find a sound that takes us somewhere else, that gives us the thing, right? Like it's in that musical exploration that we find ourselves kind of gratified and fulfilled. And so I think that is what Gauley Bhai is actually about. And then it has, Gauley Bhai carries with itself some other things.
So like for me personally, there are two different modes for me, a mode of creation and a mode of curation, right? So like creation is where like what you just described, you just whatever comes, it comes out, right? And then I do have to a little later get into that curation mode, where I'm more of an analytic, more of an editor. So that does happen.
The same for us. Like since that is, I'm saying the first day when you come up with an idea, and then we play it for a long time.
It's not the final idea. The iterations.
So the next time he'll play something else.
These guys get annoyed. Have to revert back.
Next day we'll jam and then he'll play something else. And then it'll be like, okay, fine. And it'll take us a good, we write a song for like a year.
Okay, we jammed. I get back home and I try to figure out, okay, how to explore that particular thing, what I just made, right? Something new happens, right?
He's a samurai. He cooks food and he plays guitar. That's all I do. And he does yoga. He plays till 3 a.m, so then we are not like that. Sorry, my discipline is not slightly like less, not like a samurai, slightly. So then like next day he'll come and then like we'll change it. And then I think most of the times we write a song and then we stay with it, we jam it, we feel it really. We have to be convinced ourselves, right? as we play the song grows on us. We understand it actually what we were trying to do. There's a thing to it, kya? As a musician, you have to strive, right? And then we perform it, we sing it, and then finally it goes on record, kya? Like we may record it, but that recording may not be the final recording.
Yeah.
So like you have to play it on stage to figure out what
To feel a song.
Yes.
the energy is, what the
It becomes alive. Like,
Yeah.
it's like suddenly it's real time. Because in the studio, you make a mistake, no, you can change it. But on stage, it's like a real moment. It's
Are
like
there
an
any-
alive moment.
Are there any specific things that you can only figure out on stage?
Is it playable, Anurag? I don't know, man. Because sometimes we make like, what is that?
Phone.
Sorry, it's mine. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, I think there are songs that we've played on stage and we've later on been like, okay, let's not record it. It's fine.
We have rejected a lot of songs like that.
Because it's not.
No, it's nice. People like it, groove it, but we have to feel it.
So like, do you enjoy playing it?
Do you enjoy
Do
playing?
we feel like we want to put it on record? That's also there. Right? Not every idea we make goes on record. We have like 1,000. I mean, I don't know. This guy's WhatsApp list, if you see long, it'll be like recording.
Phone my record works.
It's not like all of them become
That's your
songs,
demo.
like, yeah.
On a demo, we record demo
Those
also,
are just,
but
that's just private jam room stuff.
Okay. So like you just throw ideas through WhatsApp, record.
yeah, WhatsApp
We
spam.
just keep on. When we jam only, we'll jam, we'll record it. It need not be a song. Like we may come up with like 10
Ideas. Sir.
2 songs out of that only. You know, it goes through that process.
What's your favorite place to play so far? Aile samma goes.
Venue banba.
Yeah, venue wise, city wise, is there a
City wise, I think we find like our interesting places. Kathmandu definitely is. Nepal is crazy for us, and people understand Nepali. I mean, that is something.
that's an added bonus.
People understand Nepali, and there are venues. यो दुईटा चीज चाहिँ हामीले देखेको छैन क्या इन्डियामा.
There are no venues there?
I mean, when we were kids, the island lately, some venues are coming up, but it's a very small, it's a budding scene.
Nascent.
But it's Darjeeling, Kalimpong is not like major cities, right? Darjeeling, Kalimpong are actually like small towns, but somehow people do well and like it has a scene, you know. But that's more like tourism, and people are happy and settled, and it has got its political crises and whatever, corruption. But cities are very, Kathmandu is crazy for us because it's a city with so many venues, such a good music industry, live music industry, so many artists performing. The culture is there to go out and listen to music. So Kathmandu, yeah, definitely. Bangalore is our home city. We've grown up there. We've played, I don't know how many gigs. And like
One too many.
And people come for our gigs in Bangalore. Then obviously you must say Delhi, Bombay. Delhi, Bombay, one of the biggest cities in the world. We've played a couple of shows there. We're not, because of COVID, I think it got slightly, we had to take a gap. So 23, because we were doing that research work and all, we kind of decided not to play so much because we already were dedicated somewhere else. We were writing our own songs as well. So because of that, now Delhi, Bombay, we've just started exploring.
Festivals, yeah.
We've been playing, we enjoy playing
Yeah,
festivals
we
a lot.
enjoy playing festivals.
India, I'd say we've played mostly festivals and in Bangalore. On the Delhi, Bombay, we play antisocial, great venue. Again, Bombay also has a listening, like a culture to antisocial and Thursdays and Sundays, strangely. But yeah, Thursdays and Sundays in antisocial. Delhi is actually a great place for like jazz music and all that. We've played in some crazy jazz festivals in Delhi. There was this Jazz Weekender.
Jazz Weekender was good.
What bands, crazy bands line up. It's obviously an experience.
Zero was an experience, right?
Festivals in India, Northeast, Zero Festival of Music, Orange Festival, Yomgo River Music Festival. These were like experiences we won't forget, I think.
Right. Also, the size of the audience must be crazy in these festivals.
Northeast festivals is actually more like a little smaller, 2,000, 3,000 people, right? On an average. Zero is like slightly more. But then again, in India, there is like all these festivals we play, like magnetic festivals, obviously.
Magnetic
say
is-
NH7.
NH7 is huge.
like very big.
Do you guys prefer this like larger than life audience, performing in front of larger than life audience? So it's more intimate scenarios, like
it's completely different experiences, I think, right? Like we also played like yesterday. No, when did you play BNC? Day before. Day before. Right? It's like such a small venue. It's like hot and steamy and sweaty. 200 people packed in like this small room.
I know.
And no space to breathe and all that. But it's okay. That's one experience of a gig. And then, like, let's say I will take here the example of Royal Enfield gig. Kya Goa mein?
My goodness. That was a rowdy audience, man.
I think 10,000 men on motorcycles.
Men.
Enfield ko festival, so riders. So different age groups of riders. This thing, 10,000 people.
Wow.
We are singing and they are going wild. They want to climb out on stage. So it's completely different experiences. Some of the other festivals also mentioned, but it's not comparable. Because also the stage is so different. The equipment, the kind of gear we use is so different. Like, we like it also. What's there to not like about the best gear that you can have and play with that? But those intimate sessions are also nice. It's more one-on-one. It feels more like
no preference, like has its own.
Yeah,
has its own.
We play both.
Of course,
everywhere.
Because think about the performance part on stage. Too much, or just like it's just we do what we do. Like I guess, is there a difference between you in jam session versus you on stage?
Not so much. Not so much. The only thing is, actually, I'm a writer and I sing and all, but I'm not much of a talker. I do these one-on-one conversations much better. But then we picked up. I mean, I had some feedback in the middle to talk and explain.
Frontman चाहिए एउटा.
Frontman त चाहिए.
चुपचाप नबस्नु अरे. पहिला त नबोली चुपचाप गीत खेल्दिने क्या. बुझ्नु तुझ्नु 1 2 3 4 गरेर 10 songs and then walk off. But nowadays, like I think it's kind of gotten. पहिला त अलिकति त्यो पनि हुन्थ्यो, like you're not so used to this idea of stage and all that. But now over for 5 years, 6 years. It's been 6-7 years.
6-7 years.
So now it's feels very comfortable.
तर कोही बेला फेरि भन्नुपर्छ क्या, अब बजाइरहेको साइडमा दा बोल्नुस् न.
क्या प्रेसराइजिङ लाग्छ क्या मलाई त्यो बोल्नु न, से समथिङ भनेको चाहिँ के भन्नु अब.
मलाई पनि एकदम लाइक रिसेन्टली मात्रै आई बिन एबल टु एक्सेप्ट इट एज पार्ट अफ द आर्ट. Like to be a persona. So like, are you struggling with it or
no? I've somehow managed to stay just normal and myself only so far. Now it's fine. Now I'm like, now nobody complains and all.
Stage it's not that you have to build a persona. You just have to be comfortable with who you are.
Yeah. I must mention that changed for us in the middle. पहिला चाहिँ साह्रै पर्थ्यो स्टेजमा नि. But then I think first, so then there was 4 of us, and then I think 2020 we were playing a show in Bangalore, and then this one gem of a person walked up to us and said that, guys, you need a sound guy, and I can do a better job than whoever's doing your job. What did I say? Samuel approached us, and then we obviously something was there about that interaction, because he was mixing for another artist there, and
first of all, the confidence.
Really, I must say there's a reason behind that. He is that good. Right. I must say. And then so we worked with Sam, because he was mixing this other senior artist with us called Abhi, who is a great friend and Gauley Bhai supporter so far. So much so that the mic I use on stage says Abhi because it's his mic. He's kind of given it to us to use. So he was mixing for Abhi, and we heard that, and then it was good. It was really good, actually. And then we went to Hyderabad for one show. The best sound so far we'd ever had. Sam see, what Sam helps you is to hear yourself on stage.
Monitor.
Which is, I think, the most biggest challenge for a stage musician. Like, because you have to hear, and jam room mata, but you have control, so whatever, doesn't matter. Stage mata, you have to hear yourself. I never could hear myself properly or anybody else before that. The experience, but that day I'll never forget. Hyderabad it kind of changed, and like after that, Sam has joined Gauley Bhai as the 5th member of the band. So now we are like 5 members.
Sam is the fifth one.
Sam is the fifth, who's there on sound. And then, so with that, like a lot of things, this thing of the comfort on stage just immediately came. Then Hyderabad gig, I was already as comfortable as today, I was that day.
Right.
And then it just grew from there. And like,
Yeah, I've heard
now
so
it's
many
like-
artists say something similar, that as soon as they figured out the in-ear monitor thing, or the monitor situation, the performance, it actually goes like...
Yeah, but Sam that way is like crazy because he translated our sound even to audience. Like, wherever we go, people talk about the sound. Like, Gauley Bhai's show, sound-wise, is a special act.
It's very
because
special.
Most acts are not able to translate their sound onto like actual speakers and venue like that, where voice is clear, guitar you can hear clearly, drum is like, okay, good, like, the mix is nice, feels like you're listening to like an actual recording, like that level, so Sam really changed the dynamics of our public, like how people hear us outside.
Yeah, I can testify to that.
Yeah, so that's why Sam is like, that gig you came for, you describing in base camp, that was the most basic gear.
Yeah, that was very basic.
2 speakers, that's it, 2 speakers is what we were using that day.
And
no subwoofer.
Analog mixer. Right?
Analog
The thing
mixer.
about him is like, he adapts, kya? Just the situation, man. He's so cool about it. I'm like, Sam, are you okay? And bro, you chill.
Because he's actually, he is currently the senior most member in the band. And he's been working as a sound engineer for a long time. I think he was heading Yamaha Tech for a while in India.
Okay.
He's launched some of these mixers that we use around today.
Yeah.
So he's got his thing sorted. And
Yeah,
like,
the sound thing is sorted. Like, I remember being hit by your sound. It hit me.
Bass camp?
Yeah. It just, I was, like I said, I wasn't planning to come to the show. I was planning to go home and like, play video games or whatever. But the sound was so like, like everything was so, I could hear everything.
that's the thing.
There was no noise at all. Everything was just properly placed, and I'm not even a musician, and if I can appreciate that.
So I think that is that day around that time after Sam joined us, then we became complete, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
We were like an incomplete thing till then, like just some guys who sing and song. But then a complete band we became since that day. Ironically, to Hyderabad ko gig mein chahi, it wasn't.
There was so much ease on stage, actually, no? अब यस्तो पो हुँदो रहेछ खालके क्या अब
Like, and that's the first show after Sam came in.
Yes.
Right. So you immediately noticed the difference.
After that, we haven't done a single show without him. I mean, he's a part of the band, right? Like, we are the 5 founding members. There is actually also, Angarika is also more or less a part of the band. So we must say right now we are like a 6-member team. And then people who joined the thing is like, so Angarika was there since day one. She got us to play our first Zero festival, She got us to play our first Zero festival and all that. Like, she was only like helping us find gigs. And then Angarika, even now today, she does all
The unofficial manager at the beginning.
Manager, spokesperson, like someone who will articulate things for you. Like, she helps us with like how to strategize album releases, what to write, music videos, scripting.
Wow.
So a lot of that thing she helps us with. Like, that's her role. Let's say she's like a kimono, like an editor, writer,
Keeps
spokesperson.
everybody in check.
Yeah, it's like correctly, like, how to politically, if you want to say something, how to place it, and because her background is in that. Like, she runs a collective called Mara Collective. Check it out, guys. It's a crazy collective in India. And then Kathmandu must give a shout out to Mr. Eric Chandra Shrestha. Eric has been helping us with like media and promos for a long time now, like with videos. In fact, like, so I do a lot of the direction for the video stuff in Gauley Bhai. Siddhant handles Instagram. We all double up like that. He's a social media.
Have to wear multiple hats.
Yeah, I do a lot of the video work, and Eric kind of comes in to do the cinematography and the editing, and so Eric is our media support that way. And Eric is based here in Kathmandu. So that makes us like 7 now, 7 people working together. And then we have Preetham, who's our manager, booking agent, kind of thing. Preetham comes from an organization called Big Bad Wolf, who we are in a contract with right now.
Okay.
So, but Preetham himself is kind of sought us and got us, and then we kind of we really found him something. So now it's like, you can say 7, 8.
So many people
8
involved.
people. 8 people
in making
working
an
together.
act, no?
Yeah. Another shout out is like there's this friend of ours called Soumya, who's also a visual artist, filmmaker. So she also works with us a lot. So you need, I guess, Gauley Bhai, we've been lucky because so many friends come together and support us, and we are only here because of them. So
Yeah, these are all the people that make Gauley Bhai an act rather than a band, just a band.
It becomes a real thing then suddenly, you know? Yeah. It's not just in our heads. Like.
Speaking of acts, are there any favorite acts here in Nepal?
We are big fans of this band, Curtains, a collective of Curtains, a collective.
Right.
हामीले खाएको नि सुनेर सबै गीतहरू सिकेर गरेको
क्लास 9 देखि सुन्नु थालेको
उहिलेदेखि नि and then
अहिले currently Robin Wogley
we heard recently was very nice.
so
we
good.
enjoyed that performance.
Robin Wogley. I haven't been to his show. Okay.
He's based out of Kathmandu only.
Okay.
He has a 3-piece band. You should check it out.
All right.
Very good.
Another singer we follow here is called Miss Juma Limbu. Didi, Juma Lim Didi.
What?
Juma Didi. She sings like this Kirati style thing, and I must say, like she has.
You're teaching me about Kathmandu music scene, man. This does not look good.
Yeah.
So, talking about the new album that you're working on, how far along are we?
We have the songs. We have the songs.
Is it in the stage process now?
See, I think right now we are in the production process of these songs. We want to release around the end of this year.
Okay.
So now we've started the production aspect because we kind of have an idea what songs and how we want to place it and our biggest struggle last year we were also trying to figure out was that how do you release an album, because see everybody was commercially telling us like one song at a time. There are all these stunts to do and we were also like what should we do, so we released 3 singles actually.
Right.
After 3 singles we've been feeling like doesn't matter, man, like leave the trends aside. We will do what we believe in, and so I think we'll release a solid new album with. So those 3 singles are 3 singles, and now we'll have new songs for the second album. And we are waiting for a few logistical things to come together. Right, there is some talks we are in the middle of, some exciting things that may happen. So depending on that, it'll affect our album production.
Okay. Do we have a name?
No.
Not yet.
Not yet.
When does the name come in? At the end or?
Yeah. At the end, I think we'll announce it from our channel. So guys, please do follow.
Please follow Gauley Bhai on Instagram, on YouTube.
Information.
Or Spotify, of course, please. All right. I think on that note of looking forward to things, I think we should end today's episode.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys. It was a wonderful experience. As a fan, I loved talking to you guys, and
Thank you
I
so
feel
much.
like I was in the band jam room, and that's the best thing that I can get out of a podcast. So thanks so much, guys. And,
Thank you, brother. Thank
welcome,
you, Aayush.
and I'll see you next.
Yeah, we'll be playing soon, I guess, on the 12th, in Kathmandu somewhere. 12th we'll be playing in Kathmandu somewhere. I do not know. Preetham will
April
put it on
12th,
Instagram. Please, guys, check it out and go there. And
April 12th.
Come for the gig, please. We've been playing 3 new songs, as last time we said. We played a song called Dada Para with Addy, actually.
Oh, I love Addy.
Dada Para, Soryantra, Ahai, Paki Hai, and those are 3 unreleased. And we also played Wrong Ferry, which was released, but we never played it, because last year we had some unlucky situations with health hazards and whatever, so we couldn't perform for a while. We've only performed it now. BNC we played, and now we'll play it, so please do be there.
Okay, April 12th, Gauley Bhai, you don't want to miss this.
Presented by Vyas Media Network.